think I know where this sentiment comes from, and I don't want to denigrate it or speak ill of it too strongly, but I have heard a lot of people speak of worship leaders and others about, well, when I worship, I'm worshiping for an audience of one, or I'm performing for an audience of one. I don't believe that anymore. I believe that when we look at what Jesus tells the parable of the lost sheep, right? It's like, well, there's the 99. He leaves the 99 to go to the one, right? Well, the story is not about the one. The story is not about the 99. The story is about the 100. There's 100 sheep in that story. And so community is the context in which we find ourselves. Community is the context in which we make sure that we're not just worshiping a version of God that we've created ourselves. That's what community can do for us. And I think that when I think about worship and community, I think that when we were talking about connections, we talk about worship as connections, the connections between God and us. There's something about the connections that live between us and us too, right? Like if Jesus is the connection, if Jesus is the pathway, then we can actually recognize that when we have community, what does it say? When two or three are gathered, like that, basically the interconnectedness of us, Jesus lives there too. And so I don't want to get too non-specific. I mean, when we worship, we are worshiping Jesus, we're worshiping God, but it is almost intractable from community. And it certainly thrives in community. I've never known a story that I would trust of a prolonged season of flourishing in worship that was in isolation, unless it was a provision, right? So someone who is cut off because they're in prison. There are some of those stories. But community is where worship flourishes, and it's where our vision of God gets a lot bigger than ourselves.